Okay, so one of the biggest problems with older versions of Windows, which are no longer supported by Microsoft, Windows XP, for example, is that the update server, the activation server, no longer works, right? So let's say you've got backups, right? Um, so one of the problems I keep coming across is over time, you restore your backup. And obviously, because it might have been a couple of years, 2 or 3 years or something since you restored the backup, and you've got new hardware, you've got a new hard drive, you've had to restore, you had to replace hardware, you've got a new hard drive, you've got probably 2 or 3 new hard drives, right? And all of a sudden, Windows pops up this message on the screen saying significant hardware changes. Ugh, I keep seeing that, right? Windows needs to be reactivated. Wow. So, right, what do? You can't activate it, right? So you say, would you like to activate? It says, would you like to activate Windows now? And you think, yeah, okay, because it's mine. I bought it, so why not? So you're on the internet. You shouldn't be because it's dangerous with the viruses and malware and everything else. And so you click on activate now, and what happens? Windows pops up with a message, and it says Windows is not able to access the Windows server, activate server. I think, oh no, I'm screwed. The only other option it gives you is a phone number. But do you really want to be ringing that phone number? Is it going to cost you a fortune? It might do. I'm not sure. I've never used it, to be honest with you, but uh, so basically, you're screwed, right? You have a Windows backup, and you've got all your old software on it, like me, and you want to use the old software. That's you can't even download it anymore because they've gone through and basically, what's the word? Bleached it or removed it or whatever. The sites that it used to be on are no longer there, so you can't reinstall that software anyway, and you're stuck. And you've got all these old configuration files for your video editing tools, or you got whatever it is. It might be SketchUp for doing your PCB designs, and you can't even use that anymore because you can't access the internet anyway. So you're buggered there because I can't use SketchUp anymore. It doesn't work. So you're really messed up, right? But anyway, then you come across some guy who's a genius, and he's found, well, unsurprisingly, Windows is full of bugs, and it's very buggy, it's very glitchy, it has so many faults with it, and he's found a way to activate Windows without even going on the internet. Cool, right, brilliant. So anyway, I'll put a link down below because let's face it, it's obsolete now. You can't even buy it. I mean, officially, it would be a waste of time because you can't buy it and then install it and activate it because you can't activate it, right? So what do? Anyway, there are people out there who found a way around the problem, and which is great. But as I say, you can't use the internet on it anymore because it's not safe. There's a security vulnerability. Hang on, what's it called? A minute. Hang on, let me just remember. I'll pause a sec. Yeah, there's a security problem with the kernel, right? The kernel that's spelled KERNELL. Is it kernel 32? I think it is. Or is it kernel? Anyway, it's kernel 32, whatever. Because of this problem, because the kernel is basically wide open to attack by viruses and malware and things, you just can't use it on the internet anymore. It's not safe, right? So basically, it's only really useful to us old geeks or old. I'm not really a geek, but us old farts who can't let an old thing go. Because I mean, it's a bit like my granddad. He was set in his ways, and yeah, there was a saying, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And basically, what that means is you don't like new stuff. You like to stick with the past. You like the old, antiquated ways of doing things, and I liked the older ways of doing things. I mean, I used to like Windows 95 but it was always crashing. It was a nightmare because it was always blue screening on you. It was constantly crashing. It was so many problems, and it was only when XP came along that we had less of that. We still get it occasionally, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So I liked XP. It was good for doing what I wanted to do. You know, doing batch files. I like to write batch files, and I wrote these really long batch files that used to automate some of my little things that I like to do. Like, for example, synchronizing data from one computer to the other computer. So I would use a download computer, right? Because I didn't want to use my main computer for downloading stuff, right? If you're using Tor or Torrent or whatever it is. But so I'd leave a cheap, low power consumption laptop or netbook running in the background, which didn't use much electric at all. It was very economical. And I didn't want to use my main machine because leaving your main computer switched on like 24 hours a day is extremely wasteful as far as electricity goes. So I would use this little netbook. So, but that caused me a problem because all the files that I'd download, like Linux, for example, if you wanted to download Linux, it might take you 2 or 3 days to download it on a torrent. Or if you were downloading some other tools and things like that, it would take sometimes 2 or 3 days to download them, because we're talking about years ago, like when the internet was even worse, like dial-up. And so all the files would be on the other netbook. And I got sick of browsing over the network to the other computer to copy files from that one to my main computer, which is where I wanted to use it, right? So I made this little batch program that would check in the download folder for new downloads, so, you know, to see if there was a new download, and I'd change the attributes of the files for archive. So I'd remove the archive switch for anything that I'd copied over. So the A was for archive. So once I'd copied it over, it would remove the archive flag from that file, because I'd know the batch would know that it had already copied it over, and it wouldn't copy it again and again and again. Otherwise, I'd end up with, problems. So anyway, I used to use this tool. Just lately, I haven't used it anymore because, let's face it, I mean, most of the stuff I can't get anymore. I mean, for Windows, you can't really download a lot of stuff for Windows now anyway, so there's not much point. But it's still, I still want to use it though. Every now and then I want to go back to it. It's nostalgic, you know. It's to me, it's like taking a step back in time. It's nostalgic. I like using some of the old tools, and it's just cool to use them. And it's mainly my flight gear, because that's CVS and open source, and I like to use the flight gear. And I can't use it on anything else because the files are all configured for XP. They're not configured for anything else. And anyway, so this tool, this guy, I saw this video earlier tonight. This guy has a way of reactivating Windows, which is really cool. Anyway, so I'll put up a link to it in the end screen. A little box was it over here? So anyway, just keep an eye out for that little box that comes up. You go and check it out, and if you're really stuck and suffering in Windows XP, maybe his solution will sort you out. Maybe it will help. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.